All right, everybody, welcome back to the Detroit Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Melinda B. Powers, and today we have a very special guest. Her name is Mara Hall. She is an actress and a music extraordinaire. I love her bio. She's going to tell you more about it, so I'm going to let her get into it. So, Mara, hi, how are you?
I'm good, Melinda. How are you doing? Hey, y'all.
Uh,
What
hey,
up?
I am doing well. I'm excited to get to talk to you today because I was just so blown away by the things that you've done so far. And I know you're just getting started with the acting, but give us some background. Like, you're from the D, we didn't go to school together, which you're the first guest that hasn't gone to school with me, but we have a lot of overlap. So let's get into it. Tell us where you're from, where you hail from.
So, I am born and raised on the west side of Detroit in the University District on Wildermere Street. My parents still live.
Oh, okay.
Yes, 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 yes. I went to Hampton Elementary School, then Halley Open Middle School, and I graduated from Detroit Martin Luther King High School on the east
Oh,
side.
oh, oh, we heard all the emphasis. Okay.
Yes,
So for
the
those of you that
Martin
don't
Luther
know,
King High School on the east side of Detroit, the rival of Castac.
not only that, you went to Halley, I went to Bates Academy. So we were big academic games rivals. Like
Rivals.
for all you nerds out there, know what academic games is. That was a big deal. Okay, so you're from the west, and I have friends in that area that live in the university district, so I know that area well too. That's kind of cool. So we could have crossed paths back in the day and just not known it.
And just
Hmm.
not knowing it. Absolutely. I have a lot of friends that went to Hampton Elementary, and then I think in the sixth grade or the fifth grade, they transferred out to go to Bates Academy. I think Bates was just starting at that time,
Mm.
and they went
Mhm.
there. A lot of people that they pretty much went to, Renaissance High School. So,
Gotcha. Yeah. 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 Another rival school. All right. Okay, so let's get more into your journey. So you did send me your bio, and I just love it. So I just want you to go through it and tell the audience what you've been doing. I mean, you've been doing some big things on two very artistic areas. So you started out with music, which a lot of our guests have been musically inclined, and then now you're into acting, which is another area a lot of guests have been involved in. So just give us kind of the rundown of how you got to where you are now, starting from, I guess, when you graduated high school. Like, what was your trajectory after that?
So when I graduated high school, I went on to attend on a full music scholarship because I was in the band to Jackson State University, where I was in the world famous Sonic Boom of the South marching band. I played the tuba in the marching band, and I was a clarinet major, and that was the most amazing time of my life at HBCU, proud HBCU graduate. And I left Jackson State, went on to get my master's degree at the University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music because I really loved orchestra and I wanted to be principal clarinetist in a major symphony orchestra. So when I was at the University of Cincinnati, it was a very, very difficult place for me because I was like the only African American student that was in my program. And unfortunately, my teacher was very, very sexist. He wasn't racist, but he
Oh,
was very sexist. And, that just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth for trying to play professionally. But I still wanted to hone my skill and hone my craft in clarinet. So I went on to the University of Southern Mississippi and started working on my doctoral degree in clarinet performance, and got really burned out from going to school, undergrad, then master's, and my doctorate all 7 years straight. And I started taking acting classes at the University of Southern Mississippi. I took one class, and I had a little acting bug, but I didn't really think it was a real career. So I kind of let it go. And I went back to Detroit to start teaching band at Ann Arbor Trail Middle School and then
mm,
on to Henry Ford High School. And it was the best time of my life. My students were my pride and my joy. I had the most amazing time teaching music in Detroit Public Schools. But unfortunately, in 2006, all of the music teachers that were hired after 2001, the younger generation of music teachers or band directors, were all laid off because of the budget cuts in DPS, Detroit Public Schools. So
Mhm.
unfortunately, I lost my position at Henry Ford High School, and I went back to finish my doctorate again. So I was in Detroit for 5 years teaching, and then I went back to USM, University of Southern Miss, to finish my doctoral degree. And when I got back there, I really wasn't into it. I just totally was out of it, didn't care, didn't want to do
Mm.
it, the whole 9 yards. And so I really started getting involved in acting and involved with the Black Theater Company there at the school, and started doing workshops and different programs. And I, just really, really loved it, felt at home on stage. And from one of the performances that we did there, I took the piece that I did, and my friend, she recommended that I audition for one of the main stage plays at the school, which was Blood Wedding by Federico Garcia Lorca. And I auditioned for it and beat out like all of the theater majors at the school for a part in this main stage play. So that was
Wow.
right. That was the beginning of my acting career. And from there, I just said, okay, this is something. In the meantime, I'm skipping a lot of stuff, but in the meantime, too, I auditioned for a couple of reality shows, Monique's Fat Chance on Oxygen Network, and also The Biggest Loser, and got
Okay.
very close to making it on both of those shows. It was between me and another person on both of
Oh,
them. I said,
wow.
yeah, I was like, this is a sign from God. Like, okay, maybe you should, pursue this acting thing. And
Mhm.
that's the short before I moved to LA story of how I transitioned from music to acting.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, what was there a moment where you just decide what? I mean, it sounds like maybe it had kind of been in the background, kind of brewing, and then you just kind of made that decision. Was there a particular moment? Was it that play, or was it just a moment where you said, you know what, I think I just need to go after this?
Yes, it was before the play. We did a showcase for like Black History Month or something, and we got together. It was like a Black artist collective, and I wrote a choreo poem because I used to write spoken word when I was getting my master's degree. And I wrote a
Mm,
choreo poem, and I just felt so comfortable on stage. Whereas when I played the clarinet, I would get nervous and I would shake. And when I
mm,
started acting, it was the total opposite. I felt like I was at home. I wasn't nervous. I was very comfortable. I was very confident. And that was the moment where I said, hey, this might be something that I could do seriously.
mm.
And so that was the aha moment for me. And then when I got the part in the play, I said, okay, this is not coincidence. This is something ordained and favored by
Right.
God. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's huge. And you had done so much in music. I mean, what was that like knowing that you had done so many performances, even though it gave you that reaction versus you were just stepping into something new and it was like natural? I know that had to be kind of heavy, right?
Very heavy because I put in a lot of man hours in playing the
Uh-huh.
clarinet and the tuba, and just the studying of the craft of that is just unparalleled, and how much time and dedication. And
Mhm.
I went to a conservatory, like the fifth best school in the country, but still I didn't have that. It all goes back to your training too. Like if you don't have the proper training with music growing up, starting from a little kid, having private lessons, and your
Mhm.
teachers building your confidence, letting you know that you can. Because I was in a deficit from my musical training from the school that I went to in Detroit, unfortunately. So by the
Mm.
time I got to college, I was still in a deficit. So I just got to where I was, like to the conservatory, by just hard work and dedication, not from natural
Gotcha.
talent. I wasn't naturally talented in music. I just worked very, very, very hard. So whereas with acting, I'm naturally talented, but still, I still have to
Mhm.
work hard if you want to be the best at
Gotcha. I mean, and then there's something to be said about all the work you put into music. That definitely, that work ethic, it should transfer over to anything. I mean, it was you, you put the time in, so you're no stranger to that, and that's probably not going to do nothing but help you in this part of your career.
it. Right, right, exactly.
Right. Okay. Cool. So, man, I had something. So just forgive me. I'm having a bit of a pre-senior moment. I had something that's going. It'll come back. But so with the acting thing, so what year was that when you did the play?
2007.
Okay, okay, so it's been a minute. You've been in this for a minute, and
Yes.
so what was the driver to just make you say it's time to go to LA and just? go full throttle?
Well, when I um, got selected to make it to the final round of The Biggest Loser, that was the catalyst that pushed me to like, okay, this is something, this is not coincidence. You either need to go to LA, you need to go to New York and figure this out and see what's going on. So I went to New York first and saw The Color
Okay.
Purple on Broadway. And it
Uh-huh.
changed my life. I said, "What, yo? I want to be on Broadway. I want to play Sophia on The Color Purple, but I can't sing." So, yeah,
That's a problem.
that's a problem. That is a problem. So I went back to grad school and started taking vocal lessons with one of the doctoral students in voice to
Mhm.
learn one musical theater song to use just in case I ever had to audition for a musical or whatever. And so that was the first thing. And then I went to LA because I had a friend that was in the band with me who was also from Detroit that was staying in LA. And I asked him if I could stay with him for a week just to check out the lay of the land in Los Angeles and see if I liked it there to move there or to New York. So I really loved LA more than New York. New York was very much so gritty and grimy, and it wasn't aesthetically pleasing to the eye. So that was the catalyst that moved me to LA, just visiting there and seeing that I didn't want to go to New York. So,
Gotcha.
mhm.
Okay, so I got it back. It came back. Um, was there ever you said so because you said what caught my ear? You said you're naturally talented at acting, though that was something you hadn't really put a lot of time to. Were there moments maybe when you were younger that people may have said, "Oh, you'd be a good actress," or where you thought you might have wanted to do that when you were really small and it just wasn't anything you gravitated towards at the time? Was there something pre that play in that moment where you realize this is probably going to be, for me that about acting.
Absolutely not. Nothing in my
Okay.
childhood said that I was going to be an actress or an entertainer in any sort, shape, or fashion at all.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. That is
Very,
so
very.
interesting. Okay. So now let's take us to LA. Like, what was that like for you trying to get adjusted to that life? I mean, that first week, what happened after that, and then how did you get to where you're at now with the acting?
Well, before I even moved to LA, I was in grad school and I drove home for the summer to Detroit. So when I was in
Mhm.
Detroit, I auditioned for every acting opportunity that I could find, plays, musicals, TV, and I did one musical and two plays and I filmed a short film before I left that summer of '07. And
Mhm.
it was really, really cool because I got a chance to audition for the Mosaic Youth Theater. They had a production of Motown 1962, Now That I Can Dance, about the Marvelettes, and auditioned for one of the parts because they let adults audition. Because I know the Mosaic Youth Theater is for youth, for teenagers and middle schoolers, but they had alumni and adults audition for this play or this musical, and I did, and I got one of the roles as Florence Ballard, one of the Supremes. So
Mm.
my vocal training and my vocal lessons when I was in grad school to just learn that one song is why I got that part in the musical. And
Wow.
right. And I found out through the musical director that not only could I sing, I could really, really sing. I just didn't know.
Mm.
So that was key. And I think September, maybe the 15th, I told my mom and my dad I was packing up my 2004 Ford Focus and I'm moving to LA. I'm driving by myself. My mom said, "Well, if you give me a day, I'll go with you." I said, "Nope, I'm leaving today. Bye bye, I'm gone." And I drove 3 days by myself to Los Angeles, California and hit the ground running.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Look at you. I mean, well, I think there's something to be said about sometimes people when they figure out what their purpose is and their calling is, they kind of run from it. Looks like you ran to it, and that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a true testament about me pursuing my dreams and being fearless in it. Just to
Mhm.
pack up all of your stuff, quit a doctoral program,
Right.
and
Right.
drive 3 days to Los Angeles. That says a lot.
Wow. Okay. So then, what was your first like? What would you have considered your first big gig?
Well, when I first got there, like I said, I hit the ground running, and I bought books, researched what I should do, where I should go, what I should get. And anybody I talked to, I would ask them for advice. I took like paid consultations with actors that offered information. So every bit of information that I could get, I took it and I ran with it. And maybe like within the first 2 weeks, I signed with with an agent, which is like unheard of in LA. But basically, if you know that getting an agent, a commercial agent, is all about your look. It's just like it's supply and demand. Do they need someone that looks like your type at the time? And that's what it was. So
Right.
after that, I just kept like auditioning. I got an agent, and then I got another agent, and then there were different websites that you would go on, Actors Access, LA Casting, and Now Casting, where you could apply and submit for jobs for yourself, where you wouldn't need an agent. So I would do a lot of those, a lot of free auditions, a lot of free pro bono gigs and things of that nature. My first real paid gig came 2 years later when I booked. Oh, that's not true. So I was okay. So
Get it right for us. Get it
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. So the first thing that happened, as soon as I got there, within a couple of months, I auditioned for a reality show called Dance Machine on ABC. And I got a role, well, not a role, I was a contestant on that show. And that aired in 2008. So that was really big. And then the next year, I auditioned for a TV show called Dance Your Ass Off on the Oxygen Network. Right.
Okay.
So I auditioned for that, got on there. I was a contestant on there. And that was the show that was the catalyst to take me from an unknown to where I became Googleable. I was on red carpets. I was doing things of that nature. And also, like, I had a publicist who helped to take my career from one step to the next. And so from Dance Your Ass Off, that was the main thing that got me in the limelight, if you will.
Wow. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
then, what like did your expectations kind of adjust at that point? I mean, I know in the beginning you're hungry, you're just trying to get what you can get, but then when it started to kind of come together, was it then that you say, okay, well, this is my ultimate goal, or did you always have something specific in mind when you got started?
Uh, I didn't have anything specific in mind. I just wanted to act. And so
Mhm.
at the time, I was a really, really good dancer. And that was my thing, and dancer and performer. Did very well at that. So I used that to get me to the next level. And so being on Dance Your Ass Off, I was able to get my first manager. And my first manager got me my first TV job, which was on Nickelodeon's Victorious in 2009. So
Okay.
it was all like steps, moving steps to get you to the next level. So
Hmm.
I really didn't have any expectations. I really didn't know what I was doing at the beginning. Like, I didn't really know how to act. I remember in 2008, I auditioned for Glee and got a call
Okay.
back for Glee. So it was between me, a girl that was on Broadway in the musical Wicked, and Amber Riley, who actually got the role.
Got the part right.
Yeah, but at the time, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know like that you had to be completely off book when you're reading these lines. I just
Mhm.
was just winging it, faking it till I made
Right.
it with my little one song that I learned. Like I told
But
you, my
you
little one
perfected
song.
that song.
That little one song, and that little one song, it was Chicago, When You're Good to Mama, and
Oh,
Queen
okay.
Latifah sings.
Yeah.
And so with that song, they asked me, could I learn another song? So I learned Big Blonde and Beautiful from Hairspray. But when they
Uh-huh.
want you to sing, they want you to sing. But I'm not a singer
Right.
like that, like Jennifer Hudson Holiday, that type of thing. But yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So no expectations, just, taking it day by day, really.
Right, right. So I want to just kind of shout out some of the things that you've done that I'm familiar with. You've appeared on Grey's Anatomy a number of times as Nurse Kathleen. Um, I got to drop a little bit of something here. You were on a TV series called Giants for an episode, and I actually want to shout out Vanessa Biden Kelly. I used to work with her, my first law job in Tallahassee, Parks and Crump. So that was really cool to see that on your resume because I actually got a chance to know her.
Nice.
Um, Saints and Sinners, I've heard about. I've never watched it, but I'm a fan of Christian Keys, so I
Mhm.
know about it because he's in it.
Hmm.
But I know he's from Michigan. He's from Flint, I think, right?
Grand Rapids.
From Detroit. Oh, Grand Rapids. I knew it was one of those. Sorry, Christian. But yeah, I know he's from Michigan. And then you've been on Scandal. I mean, I'm just looking at the Quad and then Ambitions. That was probably the last thing. Well, was that the last thing? Let me ask you. That's the last thing I see on here that's not in the works.
Yes, that's the last thing that has been published on TV.
Okay,
Hmm.
cool. So what was it like? I mean, in those roles of those shows that a lot of people know about, like what is it like doing jobs like that versus some of the smaller stuff? Like, is there a difference, or I mean, kind of tell us more about that because I'm just curious.
Yes, so there is a big difference. Even though I was on those major shows, which is Scandal and Grey's Anatomy, those two
Mhm.
are probably the most popular shows that I've been on. But
Mhm.
in that in that system, I played co-star roles. So a co-star role is a role that has 5 lines or less.
Mhm.
But what happened is that because I played a nurse like on Grey's Anatomy, they could bring me back several times. So
Right.
that was key about that. But there is a level, and I teach. Well, I'm creating a co-star, how to book a co-star class that I'm going to sell online in the future, soon coming up
Okay.
within the
Nice.
next month or whatever. But those classes is you every show has different levels of classification on TV shows. So co-star, you have 5 lines or less. Then you have guest
Mhm.
star, where you would be probably one of the main focuses of the show, whereas
Mhm.
the story is about you, but you're not a lead character. Then you have recurring co-stars and recurring guest stars, where you might come back, where you're integral in, like you're a family member, or you're related to somebody, or you work at the office that the show is about. And then you have your series regulars, who are the people that star in the show. Okay,
Right.
so on Scandal, Olivia Pope would be one of the series regular. Melly would be a series regular. Columbus Short was a series regular. They were the gladiators on there. And then you also had the other people like Cyrus, who was in the president's office. All of those people are
Right.
series regulars. So
Right.
yeah, so that's how it breaks down. So on Grey's Anatomy and Scandal, I was either a co-star or recurring co-star. Now, when I was on Saints and Sinners, it was more so I was like a recurring guest star.
Uh huh.
Whereas I had a larger part where me and Kelly Price played sisters in the choir. And then when I did Ambitions, I am a series regular. So I'm one of the lead characters on the show.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Cool. So and that's on OWN. If I didn't say that, I've neglected to say that before. For those who don't know, um, so like I don't know, like has that changed your? I don't know, being elevated like that, has that done anything for you as an actress? Like just as far as your mindset and just how it's pushing you. I mean, I'm sure your goal would be to be a series regular in just about every job you book for television at this point, right? Since you've gotten to that
That
level.
is the goal. Yes, that is the goal. But since I've reached this height in this level, it's
Mhm.
very difficult to sustain it, because you're only as good as your last job, and then you don't know where your next job is going. Because unfortunately, Ambitions got canceled after one season. So
Right.
uh, I'm back to the hustle. I'm back to the grind of trying to find my next gig. So that's
Mhm.
always daunting. Is very difficult and challenging. But at the same time, because I've done that, I've performed on such a high level and such a high caliber, my acting skills and acumen have excelled tremendously.
Awesome. So have you been getting recognized for any of this stuff? Like, what's that like?
You know, I haven't, a few times, because I stay in Atlanta. So
Okay.
Ambitions is a very popular show here, and because I
Mhm.
came in as a series regular in the middle of the season as the super villain to one of the other series regulars on the show, um, people don't recognize me as much, especially because I'm totally different than my character. Like, she was totally
Gotcha.
a villain. People hate her, and I wore wigs on the show. So
Okay.
I'm like
Good.
happy go lucky and ga 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 ga, and she's like about to cut people. So it it's a different it's a different world. So people, they look at me like I know you from somewhere, but they don't. It's like not common knowledge.
Gotcha. Well, that's kind of good for you because sometimes people get really bad vibes from people when they play a bad character.
No, people really wanted to fight me. Like several people have said, like on
Oh
social media.
no.
Yeah, they wanted to fight. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. My name is Mara. Her name is Darcia.
Well,
We are
that means you did a good job, though. That means you did a great
absolutely,
job. Very convincing.
absolutely.
I mean, just full disclosure, the actor Michael Beach that played in Soul Food, that was the cheating husband.
Mhm.
I didn't like him for years, just from that one role. Anytime he played anything, I was like, oh, I don't like him. And it just in the last few years, I'm like, okay, he's all right. He's not that guy. But I mean, that resonated with me so hard. I couldn't stand to watch him in anything, and my mother just laughed at me. But that stuff really does affect you.
It does. It does. That is
Okay.
hilarious.
Yeah, it is. It's really funny because he's on what's that? Cherish the Day. I started watching that, and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't have that reaction to him anymore. I guess I just had to grow up. But so you're living in Atlanta. So are you just like going to LA when you book jobs, or are you kind of doing the bi-coastal thing?
Well, right now I'm pretty much based in Atlanta. My agency and my reps are here in Atlanta, so I'm just staying here for right now. If a job brings me back to LA, I'll be more than happy to go back to LA. But I was relocated to Atlanta for ambition, so I packed up all of my stuff and moved here. So yeah, I would love to go back to LA. It just has to be the right opportunity and right job.
Gotcha. And so, are you all about TV, or do you have ambitions to get into film as well?
Yes, well, I do TV and film. I
Okay.
After Ambitions wrapped, I filmed two movies so far. A Christmas movie called Christmas Romance Al Dente, and then another movie called Collection, that's directed by Glow star Mariana Pauca. Yeah,
Okay.
so those will be coming out soon. And then I am going to film a new movie that is directed by Ryan Howard next week, actually.
Oh wow, that's awesome. He's
Hmm.
a veteran. He's really a veteran in the game.
Yes, very much so.
So we're gonna keep our eye out for you. I mean, I'm a fan. So whenever I can shout you out, I will. And I'm following you. I know I'm following you on IG. I'm gonna get all your stuff to make sure everybody knows where to find you. But let's get to the stuff we're here to talk about, the Detroit stuff, because that's Detroit is our heart, right?
Yep. What
Um,
up, though? What up, though?
what up though, right? So just give me a few minutes of kind of like, so basically, in your experience, what is it about the D that makes it so special to you? And I mean that in every sense, from how it's grown you into who you are, and just giving you those kind of foundational building blocks that have given you what you've needed to get to where you are, like if that was teachers or a community or whatever it was. Like, what are those special things about the D that have made you Mara Hall?
Detroit is so special to me because I had an amazing childhood growing up in Detroit. I'm a product of the Detroit public school system. My elementary, middle school, and high school experiences were amazing. I had amazing teachers that taught me everything that I needed to know to flourish and grow as an adult and be a successful African American woman. The best part about Detroit that I love is that Detroit has all gamuts of African American society, from the highest of the high to the lowest of the low and everything in between. So I grew up with doctors and lawyers and architects and dentists and educators and policemen and police women and business owners all in my neighborhood, where I
Mm,
saw them every day. So I had something to aspire to every day. I didn't have to watch TV to see Dr. Rogers doing working at his practice that was on Livernois or something like that. So
right.
that's the best thing about Detroit that I see. Also, Detroit raised me to be a great person,
Mm,
to love thy neighbor, have common courtesy and respect for your fellow man, and to respect hard work, and to respect good people, and treat people with kindness, and treat people the same way that you want to be treated. In my experience, just growing up in in Detroit Public School. My mother, she was an assistant principal at Cooley High School. She also taught French at Central and Henry Ford. Just her connections in DPS and Detroit school system, and her collection of friends, and how they, nurtured me and helped me become an educator in Detroit as well. Just great people, solid, hardworking, good-natured people that care about Detroit, and they care about everyone that is from Detroit, and that will support you to the end. I've gotten so much love from people from Detroit when I came back there and did like my press run for Ambitions. These people were so proud of me, and then all of my hundreds of students that I've taught just reaching out to me. It's just, Detroit hustles harder. Detroit is just an amazing city that I go back to visit all the time. And when I was in California, I couldn't go back as much, but I would go back twice a year for Christmas and in the summer. But now that I live in Atlanta, it's just a plane ride away. It's even better. But I love the city, the architecture of the city, just what's happening with the rebirth of everything, and the new amenities that are in Detroit. Where when I was in Detroit for Christmas, I was downtown, and it reminded me of LA, just all of the type of different hotels and restaurants and new establishments that are there. It's just an amazing city, and I'm glad that it's coming back. Unfortunately, just a lot of people had to take a hit from that, like all of the teachers that had to leave. I mean, I think if we were still there, the city would be even better, because we were doing some great things as far as band was concerned in Detroit. But I love my city. It is the reason why I am who I am today. I'm a D girl to the day I die. Detroit is where it's at.
All right. You heard it here. You heard it here. I love what you said about respecting people and all, and being a good person. I really do believe that. And it's funny because us being from a place like that and then going somewhere else, you think that's kind of normal.
Nope.
And it's not. And it's astounding to see how other people can be, just when it comes to, like you said, it's that common human decency piece. Like, it's mind blowing to know that that's not just the norm.
Right.
So you made a really great point there. And that's something I don't think a lot of people have talked about. A lot of people go to the grit and resiliency and the hustle of Detroit, which is definitely, important. I mean, that's how the podcast got its name. But you touched on something really like pivotal, and just, I mean, it kind of underlies all that too, because you don't have to be harsh to hustle. You can still be a good person and hustle and get it done, but then you can also help other people and be inclusive and cooperative. So I really like you adding that element to it. Thank you so much for adding that to the whole stew we got going here. And we're gonna transition into the Fab Five, is what I call it. This is the real Detroiter part of the show. Like, if you're not from the D, you won't understand what we're talking about, because we're just going to be talking straight Detroit everything. And I'm just going to ask you 5 questions about your favorite Detroit things.
Okay.
So we're going to start with number 1. Your favorite Detroit place or landmark?
Belle Isle.
Ah, that's a very popular answer. Very popular. We know why. Those of you that aren't from Detroit, you don't quite know why. But can you give us like maybe a really great Belle Isle memory, if you can think of one?
Yeah, just like in high school, cruising around, and it was the set, the place to be. Like,
right.
And scope and look at people and get dates and get shows and all of that.
Sit in traffic.
Sit in traffic like it was Freaknik in Detroit. Yep.
Right. Definitely. Every summer. So we had that. Yeah, that definitely was the precursor to all of that. Okay. All right. So then number 2. Now this is a tough one, and I make it even harder because of all the elements I throw in. Your favorite restaurant or dish, past or current?
I gotta have a twofer on that one.
That's fine. Most people do. I'll allow it.
So my favorite restaurant, plural, would be on the west side, Sherwood Forest, Coney Island, on Illinois. Every time I come home, I gotta go there. And then also the Pizzapopolis.
What's your favorite pizza?
Just pepperoni deep dish.
Okay, that deep dish, yeah. That came up on the last one. Yeah,
The
I
crust,
agree.
that crust
Yeah,
is
it's
clutch.
so good. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it is. I can't argue with you on that one. All right, that was pretty easy. Sometimes we get a lot more than two responses. All right, and I know why, because there's some places that are closed and people like really have to shout out that they used to like.
Well, you know what? I'll give you one more. Dot net of shrimp.
Oh, the Shrimp Shack.
Yep.
Oh, I remember that place. My
Mm-hmm.
grandfather, he used to get the
Or
fried shrimp dinners. Oh
yes,
my
I
God.
got one more for you. Lou's
Uh-oh.
Deli.
Uh-huh.
Give me
Uh-huh.
more.
Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. He's going there, y'all. He's going there. And then I never shout him out, but that just made me think of one. It made me think of my grandmother. She used to love those was it Dutch Girl donuts?
Oh yeah, on Woodward. My dad got them every Saturday. Yep.
Is that still there? I don't even
Yep.
know.
It
It
is.
is? Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, shout out to Dutch Girl. We used to eat those a lot too. All right. Number three, your favorite downtown event. So just downtown only. That could be a festival, fireworks, parade, auto show, but only downtown centric.
Right. I would say any of those downtown festivals, like the African American Festival, the Electronica Festival, anything at Hart Plaza back in the
Okay.
day, back
Yeah.
before it was violent.
Yeah. Right. I mean, a lot of people have shouted out the African World Festivals. I think
Okay.
that was the last one before we went to go back to school. So that was
Okay.
like the end of the summer, and everybody
Uh-huh.
would be there. I do
Uh-huh.
remember it was a big deal. So you're right, and it was just like I think it was just really cool that we had so many different big cultural events like that in a row. Like it was just every week it was something to
It was
ribs and
every week.
soul. Like you
Yep.
said, electronic music,
Yep.
in the hoedown. It's like you
Yep.
had a little bit of everything. And just another little thing I wanted to say, and this just kind of dawned on me recently. I was listening to some old house music and it took me, man, I'm like, man, we were listening to like German electronic music like it was just urban. And it wasn't. It was very European,
Right.
but we made it very urban. And I just think that's so interesting to note.
Mm,
We were just very ahead of our time in a lot of ways culturally in Detroit. I'll just say that. We were
absolutely.
there. All right. And then number four, this is a tough one. Your favorite Detroit sports team.
The Pistons.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Was that supposed to be obvious?
Detroit basketball.
Basketball, right? The bad boys, of course, they are
Yes, bad boys all day. All
The
day.
team
All
of all teams. I remember the parades. Went to the parades,
day.
and
Hmm.
that was just a high time in the city.
It
You know,
was.
we were mad we didn't three-peat. That crushed me. I cried, and I didn't watch basketball for like almost 15 years after that. I just couldn't do it. I was emotionally scarred.
Done. Done
I
data.
was. I missed the whole Grant Hill ugly uniforms era. That just passed me by because I just wasn't interested. But
Me
the
either.
um the,
After the bad
the
boys.
yeah, but then when Ben Wallace and all those guys got good, I came back. They brought me back.
They
But
brought you back.
yeah, it was rough. All right, so this is our last one. And I know you're on your time crunch. You got an audition coming up, so we want to respect your time. See, that's that respect coming in.
Thank
Um, yes, number five, your favorite Detroit memory. And what I mean by that is a memory of something so Detroit you can't classify it as anything else.
you. Lord have mercy. Um, the only thing I can say because I had two things that came to my mind, but the first one could be anywhere at a club. But I thought about Legends, going there.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but the second thing came to my head was like when we used to cruise down 7 Mile
Oh, okay.
in high school and
Okay.
college, beginning of college. Like you can't do that anywhere else. Just like what we did on 7 Mile, and just that's the only thing I can think of. And then the third thing I think of is just like my experience, my band experience at King, and then when I was a band director at Ann Arbor Trail and Henry Ford, just how we used to challenge the other bands, and it was
Oh
just
yeah.
a Detroit, some hood Detroit band foolery.
I didn't say it, you said it, but
Look,
I will
I
agree with
called it.
you.
Look, I called it. You know, in
Yes.
the parking lot, in the hood, in the abandoned
Oh.
buildings over there by your alma mater before it was cute.
Right before Drumline.
Right, before Drumline, exactly.
Before it went mainstream, it was definitely very Detroit. And just the marching band culture in general, it's just so insolent. Like if you're not in it, you don't get it.
You know.
And I
Mm-hmm.
was in the marching band in high school. I wasn't like a super duper band head because I knew I didn't want to march in college because I just knew that was just gonna take my whole life up.
Mm-hmm.
But I can respect the band culture because it's so. Oh, I mean, it's really hard to describe because it's just so unique and it's artistry, it's showmanship, it's talent. It's like all these things rolled into one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's you got to put a lot of work into it. That takes so much work to execute.
It does.
So much work. I mean, I just remember all the rehearsal we had to do, and then don't try to do a halftime show and there's choreography and timing, and you got to pivot here and step there, and lines have to be straight. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that stuff is really intense, and it's not easy. And we were in high school pulling that off at the level of, some colleges. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just impressive to me. And then just the music, because I mean, we got a lot of music from some of our alumni that went to like JSU and all the other schools, FAMU, and it was just like they were bringing that to us, and we were doing a decent job of it as teenagers. Like that was wild, but it
Yeah.
was the expectation. That was what we were expected to do, and it was just like crazy to me.
Right.
But it's just a very unique experience. But I think it also does teach you that work ethic, that just stick to it and make it fun, but get it right. Like don't mistake it. We're having fun, but get it right.
Get it right, especially when you go in the direction of your director.
Oh yes, yes. Sharon Allen did not play. She probably still does not play. I haven't seen her in a while, but hey, Miss Allen, how you doing? But yeah, that whole experience it's like no other. So we have that common bond. I played the clarinet too. I was a section leader for like a semester, and then I couldn't. I just knew it wasn't going to be for me in the future, so I didn't want to get too into the weeds with it. But I enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's so cool. So I hope that now we can consider each other friends. I want to keep up with you and check in
Absolutely.
with you from time to time. Once you
Absolutely.
get that big movie role, I want you to come back on and tell us all about it. We are ready. Everybody's going to be supporting you and rooting for you. And I can't wait to see what else happens. I mean, you're definitely on the right track. And I'm so glad you made that pivot. You were brave enough to just say, this is for me. I'm going for it. So hats off to you.
Yes,
We are
indeed.
really loving your story.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you for having me, Melinda, because
Oh no, thank you. I mean, this is so crazy. We connected on Instagram. It was like I think you commented on the last post, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's from the detail. Okay, let me reach
well,
out and ask her.
well, what happened? My agent, I guess, saw your podcast or your
Oh,
post.
that was your age. Okay.
That was my agent, and so that's how. And then I looked. I was like, oh, you interviewed Chet, because I used to be his assistant at Morehouse.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See there, I didn't know that. That's
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna have to call him. But yeah, like the connections are all there. So I'm glad we were. Shout out to your agent. He was doing this job.
Shout out to
Um.
Christopher Young at BYSB
Yes.
in Atlanta.
Oh, Chris. So, like, I mean, that was just happenstance. I mean, this happened really quickly. I'm just glad we were able to connect so fast because sometimes this takes time and people have, other stuff going on. So, thank you so much for making time for this. I know you got to go. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I just really want to let you know that we appreciate you for giving us your time today.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and it was a pleasure.
All right. Well, that's it for today. Tune in next week for the next installment, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.